Shady.
Oh, I'm first?
Oh, yeah, sorry. How much? Well, you're the running back. We got to go to you first.
I like that.
How much would Dalvin Cook impact the Jets' chances?
Tremendously. Help him out a lot. I mean, you talking about a 1,000-yard rusher right there. I think that a player like him goes to the Jets. Everything we keep hearing about is Aaron Rodgers, young wide receivers. You get your running back. You get your running back in there that's a 1,000-yard type of rusher. Now, the safeties, they got to move up a little bit. They own that run. So I think if they get a guy like Cook, who's a home run hitter, that's the best part about his game is that, yeah, he's a good running back. He reads the holes well. He gets you, 3 or 4 or 5 yards of carry. It's pretty good. But his best attribute is taking it to the crib. He's a home run hitter. Sometimes you don't need to drive the ball down the field. You give him a carry, he gets you 30-yard game, 40-yard game, touchdown. So if you add him to that type of offense, that'll be super good, especially the AFC East. I mean, they need some type of help with all them boys over there.
Also, I think if Aaron gave up that kind of money specifically for Dalvin Cook, that's going to help your chances because that's going to keep Aaron Rodgers happy, which is something that you're going to want to do if you're the Jets. If I hand you back $35 million and you don't spend it on what I asked you to spend it on,
look, where's it at?
Where did money go?
Yeah. Right.
Where is it? But I agree with you also. Having a running back like that, especially because we know Breece Hall isn't 100% yet. We don't know exactly when he's going to be back.
And you don't got to rush him back now.
You don't have to rush him back if you have a Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin has a lot of experience. That's another really experienced piece added to that offense. And we don't talk a whole lot about where the spots are on the Jets that are kind of questionable. The offensive line.
Yep.
If you have a running back that can hit that hole, that can give you a little relief, that Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to be rushed. He's not a mobile quarterback. He's up there in age. We don't know what the offensive line is going to look like. We know last year was 31st.
Right.
So even if it's considerably better, it's still going to be towards the middle of the league as far as what we're projecting. So I think Dalvin Cook would definitely impact the Jets' chances.
And it's easier to run block than pass block. Any lineman tell you that.
Correct.
Yeah. For me, it's the experience. Obviously, the production is terrific. I think he's second over the last 4 seasons in number of rushing TDs among all running backs, and second in yardage as well. But for me, it's the fact that he's been to the playoffs. Because what have we said that this is the goal for these Jets? It's not just to be good, but they need to make a run. And if you look at the skill positions in particular, there's no postseason experience. And it's not just a matter of getting there and knowing how to operate in that, but it's knowing how you build. What does a playoff team feel like? Obviously, Aaron Rodgers knows that. Does anybody else on the Jets know what that looks like or feels like or how you go about from week to week and building into being a playoff team?
Only the other guys that Aaron brought over.
Yeah. But other than that, so adding another guy like that, a Dalvin Cook to me is going to be valuable. It's going to be valuable for Breece Hall, too, to have him there.
Anytime you get good players, quality players, that's going to help your team. Like, he's going to bring a confidence to him. And the way he carries himself, that's going to rub off on guys on the team. The way he prepares, that's going to rub off on guys on the team. The way he practices. And so there's just so many things that we don't see on a football field, just the day-to-day stuff that he's going to impart on some of the younger guys. And they're going to learn from that because you don't become a player of his caliber just by being a good player. You got to work at this. And the way you prepare physically and mentally, these guys are going to see that. And so that will never be on the stat sheet. But he'll impact other guys on the team just because of this. Now, on the field, when you have Pro Bowl players across the board, which they don't have completely, but they're skill guys. You got a Pro Bowl quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. You got a Pro Bowl back now. Because he's going to sign with the Jets. I said it yesterday. It's not a visit. It's how much you going to pay me. Okay, let's sign. You got a Pro Bowl receiver in Garrett Wilson. They are trying to put a team together, like you just said, that they can make a run.
Right.
Dalvin Cook only makes them better.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty set at every position. There are some other pieces out there. There's some other running backs who are on the market still that you could get that might be a little bit cheaper than Dalvin Cook, but at this particular point, I don't know the Jets really want to cry broke again.
They got $35 million to play with.
If Aaron Rodgers just gave up $35 million and you're flexible in that way. But, like I said, the offensive line had some questions last year. At this point in the NFL offseason, I don't know how many offensive linemen are floating out around there. Like, we're at camp now. Most of your roster is pretty much set. But is there pressure on the Jets to sign Dalvin Cook, Shady?
There's pressure there, though. I won't say for Dalvin Cook, but there's pressure to sign certain players, right? Because even like you could trade, there's probably some players out there that maybe want a contract is coming up. And when sometimes you make trades for players like that, knowing that, okay, I'm going to give him some money when we trade for him. And when you do the thing that A-Rod did as far as giving money back, taking a pay cut for the better of the team, that's the pressure part. If you taking $35 million away from me, that was guaranteed, that was in my pocket, I'll take it out to give it back to the organization, and y'all don't do nothing with it, that's pressure. You talked about just players out there with the offensive line. I'm talking about the running backs as well. Like Leonard Fournette, a guy's experience that won't be real expensive, but could be very productive.
Right.
Get a guy like that in there. Kareem Hunt is one of my favorite running backs, right? If he didn't get in that trouble back in the day, he might be setting the market for the running back market as far as salaries. He was that good. So there's guys like that creates pressure. And I think if you could get a player that adds to your team some more value, I would pay him. And if you don't do that, then that's when the real pressure occurs.
I mean, this is a temporary situation with Aaron Rodgers, right? Like he's saying when he gives the money back, he wants to be there longer and all that. But every year you are getting older also. Like he is also.
There's more gray. I keep saying more gray every interview.
It's a little salt and pepper's fine, but you're physically getting older. You're taking more hits. It's another season. It's another training camp.
Yeah.
So I think we're all realistically looking at this as a 2-year window. You went and got Aaron Rodgers because you're trying to win right now, not because you're trying to build something that is going to be ready to make a run in 5 years. So you do need to go all in regardless. And if he's being flexible with it, and you have someone like a Dalvin Cook who was 6th in rushing and tied for 11th in rushing touchdowns, ran for well over 1,000 yards last year, available and in the building, and you have the money to have him there, why wouldn't you? And despite the fact that Breece Hall was great up until he was injured last year, because of that, this is a position of need also. Like he might not be back for the first half of the season, Hall, so we don't know when he's going to be available.
Yeah.
Is there pressure on the Jets to sign Dalvin Cook, TJ?
No, because once Dalvin Cook said, I'm taking a visit to the Jets, in my mind, it's done. They're going to make this happen. And Dalvin Cook has been a free agent for a while. I'm going to talk to this team. Oh, how much you want? No. The Jets know his asking price. You don't take a visit without being in the same ballpark.
Right.
And so they
right.
must be in the same ballpark. It's a foregone conclusion by the end of the day. Dalvin Cook will be a New York Jet because you're not going to waste, I don't want to waste your time. You're not going to waste my time. Right. They're going to speak to his agent. This is what he's like, oh, yeah, we can get there. Okay, let's come take a physical. And so he might be a New York Jet before we're done with this show. That's how I'm sure of that. But it's when you give up $35 million, you better go show Aaron, okay?
Yeah.
We're trying to show you what we can do. We can tell you, but now we're showing you.
Yeah, I don't think it's finished.
It's a good thing.
I don't think it ends with Dalvin Cook. I mean, you got $35 million back. Like, take that $35 million, because you were going to spend it on me. Take that $35 million and make this team better in every way possible. The only pressure that I would say is there is because now you've created the expectation that you're going to get Dalvin Cook with the visit. And that signing a guy like Dalvin Cook sends the message to everyone, we're going for it. Now, we've talked a lot about them going for it, but then you guys could probably speak to this better. Like, when your team goes out and spends the money, when your team goes out and adds a piece that is not cheap and you know what it's all about, that has to create more motivation in the locker room to say, oh, you know what? We have the organization behind us. They're willing to spend the money for us to go get it. We need to go get it.
It's pressure regardless. Once Aaron Rodgers is on that team, pressure goes from whatever it went to 100. That the expectations just because of Aaron Rodgers.
So Dalvin doesn't add anything to that when you add him to that locker room?
I don't believe the expectations can't go any higher than what they are with Aaron Rodgers. It just puts a little more awareness on it. It heightens what you want to do. Like, I don't think people understand it. When you go to a team, and a buddy of mine just called me the other day, and when I went to Seattle Seahawks, and he was like, bro, I don't know if you know this, but you used to always tell us, why are you rushing out the locker room? Why are you in a rush to get home? Take care of your body. And I probably used to just say that to everybody because, like, damn, why y'all in a rush to go home? He was like, man, I took that to heart. Like, I started taking care. I started stretching. I started getting in the cold tub. I started getting somebody to work on my body. And I didn't really know that me telling him this had that effect on him. He ended up playing 15 years in the league. And Those are the kind of things that Dalvin Cook's going to bring. They just going to see the way he goes about his business, and it's going to impact guys, and he may not even know it.
Yeah, but even like the pressure part is like, okay, I think Aaron Rodgers is cool with being under the pressure, right? He does the relax.
He wants it.
But my thing is, what if we could take some of that pressure off his shoulders, though? Right? Because all we talk about is A-Rod and Garrett Wilson and all the other pieces, what he has to do. So what if you go out there and get you a 1,000-yard rusher in the last 4 years, 1,000 yards each year? What if you get a guy like that? Now that takes, as great as A-Rod is and his career and all that, but you take some of that pressure, or let's say if it's a bucket of that water, you pour a little bit off his shoulders. You get a Dalvin Cook. So I love that move. And Michael Carter is the backup. He's really, really good. So, I mean, I like, if they can get him, Dalvin Cook, man, that takes a lot of pressure off A-Rod.
I do think it does, especially because, again, we don't know what that offensive line is going to look like. So bringing in someone that has experience like Dalvin Cook and just making the offense a little more balanced, especially as you wait for Hall to come back. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.